pleased to introduce our presenter, Rupali Dogra, who specializes in yoga for older adults. Welcome, Rupali. It's a pleasure to have you join us today.
Thank you so much,
And
Jeff. Always a pleasure to be here with PSS. Thank you so much. Uh, Welcome, everyone. My name is Rupali, and as Jeff introduced, my work is basically working with the senior adults in New York City. I provide yoga practice, which is not just the physical part. We do a holistic practice where we work on the 3 M's, which is basically mindfulness, movement, and meditation. So our classes are a combination of the three factors to bring a holistic synergization of our energies and holistic well-being. So that being said, there are some of you who I've seen in person, I've met in person, and then there are some I'm sure I've met online only in my Zoom classes on Monday. So today we are going to be talking about three important facets. These are stretching, longevity, and how do those two add up towards making what is called healthy aging. It's a small presentation. I've broken it up into very simple terms and I've tried to keep it simple. There will be a small demonstration towards the middle part where I will show you some postures, some exercises, some stretching that is beneficial to all of us, all ages, all medical situations. So let us begin. This is just a picture of me in our regular chair yoga class. So it's a regular chair yoga class. We work 45 minutes, loosening up all the joints, working on all the muscles in our body. 80% of the class, we do it while seated in the chair, but sometimes to work on our balance, another important variable of aging. We do stand up and we practice some balance exercises to improve our balance overall. Perfect. Now, to break up the entire presentation into our goals, just to break it up, to simplify. So the next slide is basically telling us what I will be talking about, what we will be discussing in the next 45 minutes or so. The first important thing is we need to understand the why behind daily movement. Something as basic as daily movement, but what is the why? Why do we need to have this as a part of our everyday regimen? Secondly, we are going to place stretching, one particular practice of stretching in that overall regimen of staying active, staying mobile, and what we just will define as what constitutes as daily movement. Then we will see how we will briefly touch on the idea of how yoga, chair yoga, can be a part or it plays, how we can place that in the context of stretching. Where is the confluence of the two practices, yoga and stretching? And finally, after demonstrating a few stretching exercises, moves to you, we will go into the mechanism of stretching. What exactly happens to my body as I bring my arm up, as I lift my leg up? And without saying, we will be touching upon the benefits of aging, again, especially for older adults. And last of all, how much of stretching, who should be stretching and who should not be stretching. So it's trying to cover all the aspects of this practice of stretching while putting them in the larger picture of healthy aging, holistic aging. Very nice. So that was our introduction of the presentation, and we'll jump right into why daily movement matters. So this is a quote which I absolutely love. It's very dear to my heart, and most of my classes, if you've been to my classes, you might have heard me repeat it again and again. Movement is medicine. It is one of those free medicines that we have that is available to all of us. And when we say movement, it could mean anything. It could be a class like a Zumba class. It could be a walk in the park. It could be a gardening activity, or it could be something more structured like a yoga class. Or simply put, it could be just you sitting at home in front of YouTube and doing a little bit of stretching. So the reasons why stretching is important, that does bring us to the next slide. The first reason we have to remember is that as human beings, our bodies are and our bodies were and our bodies are meant to move. Right from primitive man to modern lifestyle, which has unfortunately taken on a sedentary lifestyle. Wherever we are, our bodies, the different parts of the body, the limbs, the organs, the heart, the cardiovascular system, all of them were designed keeping in mind that this body needs to run, it needs to walk, it needs to work, it needs to hunt. So the survival, the intention or the meaning to survive is heavily dependent upon the mobility or the movement in our body. So the second reason, going to our next slide, our second reason why we need to move is if we don't move it, we are going to lose it. Another very, very simple golden rule, whichever part of the body you stop using, or it goes into a period of inactivity, it is going to slowly decline as far as its functioning capacity is concerned. Muscles are a very, very big example over here. Muscles stay strong, and most of my bones, the structure of me, is being held up because of my muscular system. And now these muscles, they stay strong only through regular use. If I stop moving, if I slowly go decline into a state of inactivity or slow activity, something called sarcopenia or atrophy starts happening. This is the only medical term that I will be using, which is basically a loss of my muscle strength. So that's a big one. As we age, that's the top one, the muscular atrophy or the muscular sarcopenia. The second thing which starts affecting, again, keeping older adults in mind, keeping the aging factor in mind, is my joints. If I do not move my joints, and a joint is anywhere where two bones meet, it could be shoulder joint, finger joint, that is if I don't move my joints, if I don't have movement in my regular life, the joints are going to turn stiff, and then there will be pain or inflammation. And last of all, we are made up of 11 systems. There are muscular system, there is cardiovascular, skeletal system, and all those systems they benefit or they are impacted by either that infusion of everyday activity or by a lack of everyday activity. And last of all is your brain, cognitive functioning. Once again, putting it in the larger picture of aging and aging body, yes, any kind of movement, physical movement, is also going to help us with our cognitive health, cognitive alertness, staying sharp and staying in a free of brain fog zone. Those were the first top two reasons. The third reason, and we move on to our third slide, which is the biggest reason behind all. Whenever I sit down to design my class for adults, this is the biggest reason at the back of my mind, and which is physical independence. We want to stay, not just we want to live for a long time, we want to live healthy for a long time. And the biggest checkbox or the parameter of healthy aging is staying physically independent, physical independence. As long as I am able to do my groceries on my own, shower on my own, take care of my hygiene, grooming, make a meal for myself, those are the daily functioning needs. As long as I can check them off, those would define or qualify me as a physically independent person. For physical independence, we need to keep some kind of activity or movement in our everyday routine, everyday life. So these are our three big reasons why daily movement is important. Now, next we go on to examples of everyday movement that I can give you just to make it even more clear and simple and visible to you. everyday movements, like everyday things like tying your shoelaces or taking off your socks, you are bending. It's an activity, it's a movement. Then you have to pick something from the top shelf in a grocery store, or a coffee mug from the top shelf in your own kitchen cabinet. That reaching up, it requires some movement. Then there are other simple chores that we have to do, like making my bed every day, or taking out clothes, or sorting my laundry away, taking the clothes out of the washer, bending down a little bit. Now, if we look at a common pattern or a theme or a motive during all these regular everyday functioning, it is you are doing some or other kind of stretching. There is some stretching happening in some part of your body. So this is how we place the practice or the movement of stretching in that picture of staying physically independent. To stay physically independent, I should be able to do all my regular chores. To be able to do all of them, there will be a need for me to stretch some or the other part of my body. And this is what brings us to the role of stretching in our everyday lives. So now that we've mentioned about everyday activities, there are so many examples. I can give you example like vacuuming, which will require a stretching of your back because you have to bend down. As I mentioned, taking out the laundry out of the washer, putting it in the dryer. Once again, it's arm strength. Putting on your shirt or shampooing or combing your hair is again stretching the muscles over here. Shoulder mobility, which is your joint. All these things, all these movements, they require that we stay active in our everyday lives. So now this brings us to stretching, the role of stretching. So what exactly is stretching? It's a very loose term, and to put it very, very simply in the most basic layman words, stretching means gently lengthening your muscles. As we are aging, our muscles are getting shorter and tighter because of various reasons. One of them is overuse, one of them could be less use also. But what is happening is that the muscles are becoming shorter and tighter. And when that happens, this leads to a state of, once again, some kind of discomfort, which when extended could lead to pain. What stretching does, any kind of stretching, whether it's an overhead arm stretch or whether that's a leg stretch outwards, it gently lengthens that muscle, the muscle that was becoming shorter and tighter. It lengthens that muscle. And once that muscle is lengthened, you will develop a sense of ease. There will be a reduction in the stiffness, the tightness that we can feel in our lower back. Maybe after I get up in the morning, after my sleep, there's a small stiffness in my lower lumbar region. So that it reduces the level of stiffness. It brings relief from a feeling of tightness, and also my body will feel more at ease, more at relaxed. And as they say, it's almost like an easy peasy situation. I will be able to manage my functioning in an easier fashion, less pain. That's what stretching is all about. The other two things that we need to clarify right at the start is that we do not need to be super flexible to be able to benefit from this practice of stretching. Absolutely not. I keep on repeating that social media has, in a way, spoiled the reputation of true yoga or the practice of stretching by presenting us nonstop of this, bombarding us with pictures of women, very slender women in pretzel poses with their arms and limbs all entwined and the most confusing shapes that the human body can contort. But the word itself would be a contortionist. You are not doing yoga. Simple stretching is available, accessible to all bodies, all shapes, all situations, medical situations, whether you are an active adult, whether you are an older adult, whether you are wheelchair bound, whether you are bed bound, whatever is the physical status, stretching is available, accessible to all. And of course, as I just mentioned, stretching is something that can be done sitting, standing, or lying down. In our classes at PSS, in-person classes, we definitely include, we start with sitting stretching, but we do incorporate a little bit of standing, as you will see in some of the pictures that I've loaded up. We can absolutely do stretching in all different positions, whatever is accessible to you. Very good. So making sure that stretching is a very inclusive and welcoming practice for all of us, we are going to move into our next slide, which will be Jeff, benefits of stretching. Yes, excellent. So I'm going to enumerate the benefits over here. I will break them down slowly also, but the big ones, once again, I've put them, there are so many benefits. I've culled the ones that are most beneficial for this demography, for the older adults, or as we say, for aging well, for healthy aging. So the biggest one, as I just mentioned, is for the muscles. We develop strength in our muscles. We develop what is known as muscular stamina. To be able to hold myself up, to be able to hold my arm up, to be able to stay on my legs, I need that muscular stamina, the muscular strength. So that is one big benefit that I can get out of regular practice of stretching. I develop muscular strength. I do not develop that muscular mass that is again portrayed on social media. We do not need that. Oh, it looks good, but it is more of a cosmetic, superficial, visible effect. We can develop mass strength in my muscles without making it very, very visible and outward. And stretching is a beautiful, beautiful practice that helps a lot. The second one also, as I mentioned, if you know of someone, or if you yourself suffer from joint pain, whether that is because of a diagnosis of arthritis or anything else, what stretching will do is it will reduce the stiffness and the aches and pains in my joints. It could be a pain in my fingers, the joints in my fingers start hurting, or there's a pain in them, or my knees. The most common example that I can give you is knee arthritis, arthritis in the knee, or just stiffness, a feeling of stiffness in the knee, which results in pain when I move that knee. So again, a dedicated practice of stretching little bit, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, targeted at the knees, will definitely reduce the level of that pain. And then we have some more amazing benefits out of this practice. Another one is blood circulation. The blood, it's what is providing me, it's the bus or the train that travels throughout my body, providing all parts of my body from the fingertips to the toe tips, everywhere with blood, which is basically the carrier for oxygen and nutrients. Without that, there is no life. So when this bus, as we age, the bus starts slowing down. So the blood circulation is slowing down. But when I lift my arm up, or when I go on my toes, I lift my calves, heel raises, I stretch my legs, what I do is I make that bus go all the way down, taking that supply of blood and nutrients and oxygen in it to my tippy toes, the furthest part of my body. So this is how it improves blood circulation. We need good blood circulation for various reasons. One of them is that good blood circulation helps in faster recovery or healing. So if I've had a fracture, or if I'm suffering from an infection, if the blood circulation is good, it's a good, robust blood circulation, then I will be healing. It will aid in the healing of my body quicker and better. All of it only by stretching. That's why, again, very, very important for people who might not be able to, who are bed bound for some reason. Maybe it's just their temporary rest from a fracture. But even in that still position. They can still move their arms up. If the legs or the hip has been impacted, we move the arms up. We do a little bit of stretching to the other parts of the body so that the blood supply is encouraged to go to the parts where it is needed the most. And of course, then there are some beautiful benefits which are definitely specifically for as we age. One of them is fixing my posture correctment. Every time I roll my shoulders backwards, or I do a shoulder movement, or I bend, or I take my arms up, this is known as a cactus stretch, I bring in a correctment of my posture. What is happening as I'm aging is that gravity is pulling my shoulders down. It is my shoulders are rolling inwards. And when my shoulders roll inwards, my chest kind of goes into a tighter position, a collapsed position. And I want exactly the opposite. I want to counteract the effect of gravity. So I do a little bit of opening and stretching, holding my arms up, stretching my arms up. Every really deliberate, conscious movement that I'm bringing to my limbs. And why are the limbs to my muscles? It is going to help correct the alignment of my systems in the body. And what that does is that I go back, or I reverse the damage of aging or gravity, or just a bad having. Maybe I had a poor posture because of my profession. I know of someone, we are working together. She has a bad, when I say bad, maybe that's a harsh word, a poor or an imperfect posture because she was a pianist in her in her profession. So what she was doing is her shoulders were rolled down, her back was a little bit bent. So what happened was the back got impacted, and now there is pain in the lower back. Same thing also happened in a person, again, someone, a senior I've seen in my classes. He was a school bus driver for his career, for his job. He used to drive a school bus. So the shoulders were down, they were rolled down. And so now we are working on a posture correctment for them. So and for posture correctment, all that we need to do is to bring a little bit of stretching exercises, seated, standing, whether you're doing it while watching TV, or there are some you can even do while lying in your bed. So that's another one. It counteracts slouching, it counteracts poor posture. And then big one is balance, stability, staying steady on my feet, preventing falls, bringing the risk of falls down. I got this figure from an earlier talk, a presentation that was done on PSS Life again, that I think it was 1 out of 4 or 6 Americans will have a fall in a year. That's a very, very big number. That's a huge number. To prevent falls as we age, stretching is one of the most wonderful tools that I can have. It is accessible to me. I can work on it on my own to bring balance and steadiness to my body. And as I say in my class, what I practice on my mat or what I practice on my chair doesn't stay over there after 45 minutes when the class has ended. I carry it outward in the form of muscle memory. Also, the brain stores those instructions. So whenever I do stretching, maybe of my legs, maybe I lift one foot off and I hold myself straight on the other leg, I am trying to build in, or I'm practicing good balance. This good balance that I'm working seated on a chair or maybe standing in a group class in a safe environment, this practice is going to be stored in my brain and in my muscles. So when I step out on the New York City streets, which are not the safest streets because there are uneven surfaces and the risk of falling on those streets is really high, or I have to step into the MTA bus, or I have to step onto the curb, off the curb, all those movements which I cannot escape if I want to stay physically independent will require some kind of stretching practice at home. That's a big one, building balance, improving my balance. And the last one is it's more of an invisible effect and more of an invisible transformation, but I place a lot of faith on it and a lot of emphasis on it. It is having a calm mind. Stretching is not just a physical exercise, it's a beautiful exercise which takes into account your breath also. And that is where the yoga practice comes in. When I do my stretching, I lift my arms up really, really slow in tandem, aware, in awareness of my breath, and I hold my arms up. Maybe I pause over here, and then as I release the stretch, I bring my arms down really slow in a controlled, deliberate manner along with the breath. I exhale it out. I always end up calming this part of my body, the mind, the brain, the inside. So that is more of a transformative action. It is invisible, but at some point you will start beginning to feel it. You will walk out of your stretching practice, whether that is in the form of a yoga class, solo yoga class, or a group yoga class. You will step out of that class or end that class feeling a bit lighter in your mind, in your body. Just as I started by saying that you will feel a sense of ease in your body, the same sense of ease is also reflected in how you behave, how you respond, how you react to life around you, situations around you. Those are probably the big benefits that we can get out of stretching. Of course, there are so many more depending upon our age group and our special medical situation, but these are some benefits that apply across board, wherever you are, whatever is the shape of the body, condition of the body. 100%, if you start with a small dedicated practice of bringing in some kind of stretching every day, you will start feeling these benefits in all different forms: muscles, muscle relaxation, ease of mind, joint pain less, better balance, better posture. You will definitely start feeling and seeing those benefits and effects. So those are the benefits of stretching. Now we can go on to our next slide. So yes, now that I've explained the benefits of stretching, and I've also explained stretching is just lengthening the muscles and then releasing the muscles. What exactly happens when I stretch? So I have two pictures over here. Again, both the pictures, one is more of a animated movement and the other is a picture, medical picture. What we want to see is, think of your muscles as an elastic band, a rubber band, something like this. When the band was fresh out of the packet, I just bought it at the store. Analogy, me in my youth, my muscles were very elastic. They could expand, they could come back without injury. I could do all kinds of sports, basketball, I could really jump up, I could run long distance, leg, I could do that, I could kick the ball really high, I could do the hoop, the hula hoop all the way, and there would be no injury. I would be fatigued, but there would be no injury, because every time I did an activity, the muscle expanded, but then it came back because my muscle is still young and still elastic, and it has that stretchy feeling to it. Now, as we age, this rubber band, if it is aging, if it is an old rubber band, somewhere along the line, the elasticity will not stay the same. There is a decline in the elasticity. Worse still, which is still okay, worse still, it might become so weak that if suddenly I pull it, it might snap and break. That is injury. So what is happening to me as I am going through this journey of life is that the muscles are becoming less elastic. They are shortening. Overuse, underuse, age, different reasons, maybe my profession, inactivity, many reasons, but it is happening. And they are losing their elasticity and they are also becoming shorter. So that is the first condition that our stretching practice addresses directly. It brings that elasticity back. Every time I stretch, I hold, the muscle is stretched. When I release the stretch, the muscle comes back, but rejuvenated muscle. That's the first one, the picture of the two fingers with the elastic rubber band. The second one is more of a medical picture. This is what probably your doctors would show you. It is exactly what I told you right in the beginning, the loss of muscular mass. If you zoom in, I hope you are able to see it. Like with my reading glasses, I have to really look closely. There are two pictures over, two graphic representations. One is the normal muscle in my bicep. And this is a regular bicep. This is not like a person who is going to the gym and working out or a wrestler. This is a normal, young, youthful muscle bicep. You look at the quantity of that muscle mass in it. That's a normal one. As we age, the muscle mass is declining. Unfortunately, it is more so for women. So the muscle mass inside my limbs, inside my body is coming down, which is called sarcopenia or muscular atrophy, as I mentioned in the beginning. So now that the muscle mass is coming down, my arms are becoming weaker. Earlier, if I could carry a heavy backpack while going to school and maybe while I was at work, I could carry two grocery bags. Maybe today I can carry only one because this is becoming weaker. The shoulders are becoming weaker. They're falling down. So this is a visual representation or presentation of exactly how what happens to our muscles as we age and how stretching can help us counteract both of those, the elasticity and the muscular strength. I hope that visual does help because I keep on repeating about it, talking, but this is a beautiful opportunity for me to actually take out pictures and actually show you what I talk about a lot in my classes. So going on to the next one, this is stretching and aging, types of stretching. This is just like for knowledge. It is educational. I will be breaking it down and showing you, giving you simple, like a chart, a cheat chart where you can say, okay, it's morning, this is what I'm supposed to do. Nighttime, this is what I'm supposed to do. But just to give you a small formal educational background, there are three kinds of stretches. And this is when I will also demonstrate a little bit. So the first one is static. In all of my classes, whether Zoom or in person, if you've done any of those classes, you would have faced all three of them at some point. The static stretching is where I hold a position. I hold it. Scientifically, scientific data says a 30-second hold is required to bring a good effect. But if 30-second is too high, I always say begin with a count of 5. Take it up to a 10, maybe to a 15, and then you let it drop. So this is when I hold a position, whether that is arm sideways, whether that is arm upwards, whether that is a sideways stretch, or it could be a leg stretch or lower body stretch. Whenever I hold, it's a static stretch. We give time for that muscle to get the job done, to elongate, and then come back. The second one, of course, is the dynamic stretch. When I move a muscle through a range of movement, I will show you example again right now. I will demonstrate it. I'm 100% sure you would have done it in some or the other form while doing stretching, any kind of stretching, my class or any other physical activity class. The last one is the active stretching, where we are stretching with a lot of muscle engagement. If I want to do a complete practice of stretching, I would want to incorporate all three of them in one form or the other. All three of them in one day, we do not need it. We can, if I am doing only 10 minutes of stretching today, maybe today I just want to do static stretching. Tomorrow I can bring in dynamic, and maybe someday all three together. So now I think, Jeff, this would take us to our demonstration class. We are right on time because I would like to leave some time. Oh, yes, I just wanted to show you this. I wanted to show these two pictures. They are from my PSS. These are from my classes. As you can see, why I wanted to bring it up was stretching or chair yoga or yoga can be done in any condition or situation. In one picture, I have a lady seated, and in the other picture, we are all standing. So we do standing, we do sitting. We can also do, I always give modifications of how the same posture, same exercise can be done on the bed also, or on your couch also. So this is just a fun picture. I dug it up and I thought it was beautiful. That is PSS King Towers with my favorite ladies in there. So just to give you an idea, a visualization of stretching can be done in any position, standing, sitting, on the chair, off the chair, on the mat, on the bed. So now we will move on to the next slide, which I'm guessing is the demonstration. Very nice. So as I had promised, I'm going to show you 3 different stretches of each kind, the static kind, the dynamic kind, the active kind. You are more than free to follow along the instructions. I will break them down to you. The only thing I would request is, I hope you've done some kind of warm-up activity before this presentation. We never ever jump into any activity with cold muscles. We warm them up a little bit. It's like turning on the engine of a car on a cold day. You let it idle for some time so that the heat begins to warm up the engine. The same thing with our body. So if you've had lunch, you are good to go, because food always provides you with energy. Energy is heat, and so the body is warmed up. So I'm going to move my chair a little bit back. I hope the it's still clear and visible. So this is where I am, and I apologize for my dog towards the. So Jeff, can I see that slide once again so that I know exactly what exercises we are doing? So if you are going to follow me along, follow me. We are doing it on a chair. The conditions are that the chairs should not have wheels. Other than that, any sturdy, steady chair is okay. Good. So we are doing the seated arms, hamstring, the seated arm circle, sun salutations, and seated. Oh, excellent. Okay. So let me start with the dynamic stretching. So the dynamic stretching is simple. It is any movement where any engagement where I will hold the position and bring in the movement. So if I'm holding my arms up like this and I'm doing shoulder rotations like this is a dynamic stretch. This is a dynamic stretch because there is movement involved over here. Very nice. So my limbs, my arm muscles are getting a stretch. My fingers are straight pointed out, which means the joints in my finger are getting loosened out. I'm holding the arms up, which basically means that I am stretching the chest muscles right over here, which, as I mentioned, is going to help with one of the systems, which is my respiratory system, because my lungs and my heart, cardiovascular system, and of course, lymphatic system, lymphatic drainage. Every time I lift my arms up, I cause a little bit, I start a little bit of lymphatic drainage. So first step is I'm holding my arms up. Right now, this is a static position. It's a static stretch. I hold it up and I stretch. I make the arms longer, maybe to a count of 5, maybe after a few weeks to a count of 10. And then I drop it down. This would be an example of the static stretch where I just hold. The second one is a dynamic stretch that I bring my arms out, I hold it, and then I bring some kind of movement. Right now, it's a shoulder mobility movement. It's an arm, fingers included, wrists included, but because there is a movement attached to the stretch, then it is called a dynamic form of stretching. Another example that we do often is sun salutations. You will lift your arms up, you will take them up, and then you will bring them down. This continuous movement while I stretch my arms outwards, flip my palms, take the arms upwards. So there is an expansion of the chest, an extension of the back. All these movements fall under dynamic stretching because there is movement, movement, movement. The third one, which is the third one, I'll give you an example. We again do it in most of my classes. This is where I will bring a flex of the easiest one that I can think of right now. So we sit in the front of the chair, and remember, a chair with no wheels. I try to sit up straight, not with a tightness in my spine. I never want to build tension. The aim is always the opposite. So I'm going to lift the right leg up. I will inhale and I will lift that right leg up. Thigh is off the chair as much as possible. This, if I hold it and keep it over here, again, a good practice and strengthening this thigh muscle. But if I bring it down and then lift it up again, bring it down, it turns into a dynamic stretch. This is another one of the dynamic stretches where there is movement, movement, movement. The last one would be if I hold, I inhale and I hold that leg out, exhaling it out. And now, if you focus on my toes, I start flexing my toes. I stretch my toes away, I turn them inwards. I stretch them out again, and I turn them inwards. Every time I flex them, there is a stretch over here. I feel a stretch. Every time I pull them in, I feel a stretch in my calf. Now, that would be an example of the third kind of stretch that we generally do in our practice. So if I am able to cover all three categories in one way or the other, my body, all the muscles in my body will get that rejuvenation, that jolt. They will get a stretch, they will get the blood supply, they will get a release of tension, and all of that will be reflected in a calmness of my mind also. Excellent, excellent. And we will be doing more of those stretches, demonstration stretches in our in-person event later during this month. So next slide, please. I hope that demonstration was helpful. Going back, so we covered all the static, dynamic, and active stretching. And I see a heart popping. I have no idea how it came up, but thank you so much. Okay, now these are just the formalities, only because we should cover them. If you are new to the practice and if you plan to do this practice on your own, it's always wiser to be a bit informed before you jump into something. So when should we practice stretching? I've heard this question often. So I just read it up. So basically, stretching can be done after waking up. Good time, especially during winters. I keep on repeating this. Winters are harsh for New Yorkers. They are really extremes of winters. So if we have arthritis going on or any kind of joint inflammation, a good routine to make is you get up in the morning, maybe have some water and do at least 5 or 7 minutes of stretching. Whether that is still seated on the side of the bed, nobody cares. And this is where I listed it up. You can screenshot it. I can send it later. The basic movements that you would be doing is ankle roll, where you roll your ankle. You do the toe flexes that I just showed you. You do the shoulder rotations. Again, simple movement to release the tension in my neck. I was sleeping, the neck was tight. Now I release the neck and the shoulders. Wrist rotations, because so many of us suffer from finger pain. And of course, the arm overhead reach. We have to do this. And the last one, for back pain, if you can do a little bit of back sideward bending in the morning, once you've just gotten up, just a little bit. We're not going to go into deep bends. We're just warming up the side of my body by going right and left 5 times on each side. It is going to, as they say, just wake up your body and prepare it for the rest of the day, so that the rest of your day goes in ease instead of walking around with a stretchy, tight, painful situation. 5-10 minutes in the beginning. Of course, then we have the second time when we can do this practice is during a dedicated yoga or stretching class, a group class with a teacher over there, or whether you want to do it at home using some online platform, absolutely your choice, where we loosen all the joints and we strengthen all the muscles. So that is the second way or when we should do it. And third, of course, before bed. Now, this is something which I would mention you would do it with caution, in the sense that the exercises that you do in the morning after getting up, and the exercises that you do just before going to bed are going to be different. The morning exercises are energy boosting because you want that lift of energy to continue, start your day. The evening exercise has to be a slowing down. So I've given some examples over here. Finger stretches, because during the day you've used your fingers, you don't even know how many times. Maybe you've spent a lot of time on the phone, scrolling or typing, or little things that we do like brushing, using a fork. We've been writing, all those movements. Yes, I will answer questions, right? We are going to finish it in like the next 3 minutes, and I will get to the questions definitely. So the exercises that you would do at night would be to release the fatigue. So you would do a little bit gentle exercises of the foot. One easy exercise I've mentioned again and again is rolling your foot on a bottle of water or a tennis ball, whichever is easy and comfortable. It will release the fascia of the foot. You've been on your foot the entire day, walking, sitting, going around. That foot, the sole, is tired. It's held the weight of your entire body. So you want to roll it a little bit and release that muscle. Fingers, finger pain, just stretch them a little bit. Neck rolls, very, very gentle. All these exercises, as I just mentioned, the stretching in the morning is uplifting. It is full of energy. You can use a little bit of intensity, not in the evening. Evening is winding time. You are winding down. The messages that you're sending to your brain is, I am winding down. I want to relax. Put me in a good sleep, quality and quantity both. So what I want to do is I want to release the tension. I want to do a little bit of neck rolls, little bit, gentle only. Never play around with the neck a lot, never ever. And that's how you wind up your day, or that would be a good way to end your evening or day, by doing a little bit of stretching. That is the question, when. So how much should we practice stretching? If you have just started, you are brand new to the practice, yes, 5 to 10 minutes a day. If you do more in the beginning, you will feel soreness. Soreness, we do not want to worry about it, but soreness, it takes time to go away. That's the reason why I say always go slow. 5 to 10 minutes a day can bring a very noticeable difference in your posture, in your balance, and just in general with your joint health. Of course, if you can do it 3 to 5, ideally, that's what the aging website, American Association of Aging, I think that's the website from where I took this, that senior adults should aim to practice stretching at least 3 to 5 times per week, and ideally daily for best results. 10 minutes, 15 minutes, that is it, any time of the day. Who should not be stretching? Now, my role as a yoga teacher, I have to bring this in. There are some situations, contraindications, where we do not practice stretching. One of them, of course, is a recent surgery. If you've had a surgery in your spine, there is no way you would want to do a spinal twist. If you've had carpal tunnel surgery, you are not going to be doing this immediately. You have to give your body time to heal. So if there is an acute pain, that means that maybe the arthritis has flared up today for you, unfortunately. No, that is not a good day to do a lot of stretching. Maybe just a little bit maintenance work. But if there is pain, I personally advise pain day is equal to a rest day. It's as simple as that. There will always be another day. Why push ourselves through misery and get into that zone of injury? We don't want to risk injury. And severe osteoporosis. If my bones are really vulnerable, the bone density loss is really high, then if I really stretch, I could fracture. So we want to avoid that. Little bit of stretching is not going to harm you, but sometimes our cells don't know what is my limit, and we go into that zone of over bending, over stretching. So that can create problems for people who have very weak bones. Vertigo or balance issues. There are modifications for this. The biggest modification or concern, or what you can do, is you never close your eyes if you have vertigo or you have a balance issue, because that can cause dizziness. And of course, during times of infections or fevers, Once again, that is a time when the body is already fighting something. You don't want to exhaust the body by bringing a stretching exercise in. You want to conserve that energy. The immunity system is already being pressed to fight that infection or that viral fever. So at that in that period of infection, the body is fighting. It's already exhausted. Don't add on to its burden, and you let it go. We are almost towards the end. Oh yeah, I love this. I love this. There were more bullet points to it. How can I incorporate stretching into my everyday routine? Besides going to a regular yoga class, a structured class where you have no other option but to do what the teacher is telling you to do, we can put in little movements of stretching in our everyday life, everyday functioning. And these are known as, it's a cultural slang word, it's called movement snacks. Just like little snacks for your belly, for your stomach, these are little movement snacks for your body, physical body. So what you do is, while watching TV, you do your wrist rotations. While watching TV, you do your ankle wrist rotations, and you do your ankle rotations. While standing in the bathroom, while you are brushing, you hold on to the sink, and while brushing, you do go up on your toes and bring the feet down. Go up, bring them down while brushing, while combing. Hold on to something. You are washing dishes in the kitchen, or something is happening in the kitchen. The pot is working, doing its work. Hold on to the sink and do a few squats. Don't go all the way down. Hold on to the sink or a sturdy surface, and you go down and lift yourself up. All these are movements which are micro movements spread or sprinkled during your everyday time, everyday routine. You don't have to make extra space, but the benefits will be immense. As they say, little pennies add up, little micro movements add up for a longer, healthy life. PSS Harlem class, and I love this lady. Look at her. Look how fabulous she looks. Every time. Look at that well coordinated outfit with a matching bag, and look at her sitting over there with her cane under her chair doing her stretching. She had just come recovered from her knee replacement. So I told her not to do anything to the knees. So she just sat over there and did upper body. And look how beautiful and fabulous and strong and fit strength. This is a picture of strength that we are looking for. Not just outward strength, but strength of mind, of that spirit that, yes, I had a knee replacement, but I will work my way through it. I will strengthen my way through it, maybe through stretching. Now we come towards the end of our presentation. I really hope it was helpful. If there are any questions, I am ready. We have another 5 minutes or so. So do you recommend wake up stretches? Oh, Miss Preston, yes, I get that question a lot. And sometimes I faced a lot of backlash also. It's purely a personal choice. I'll be very honest with you. There are some of us who have this such a strong ingrained habit of having our coffee first thing in the morning. So at this point, we don't want to change things so drastically. So yes, please enjoy your cup of coffee and then come and do your stretches. There is no big impact on this way or that way. Absolutely. The only thing we do not do is we don't do big, vigorous tummy stretching on a full stomach. If you've had a heavy lunch, you don't want to do any kind. That is true for any kind of physical activity, because the body at this time is focused on digesting. Digestion is happening. So you don't want to use up the energy in any other way. Oh, Bruce, thank you so much. And then maybe you can join us at PSS someday, online or in person.
Thank you so much. I will close our session for the day. And let me just say thank you once again, Rupali, for this wonderful
Oh,
talk.
thank you so much. Thank you. It was so nice to be here and see some familiar names. Thank you so much for coming and attending. Thank you.